everyone. This video is just going to be a real quick general information video that you guys, it's kind of to remind you of some of the classroom routines, some of the expectations, just things that you guys need to know for this class. So the first thing that we're going to talk about would be bell work and exit ticket slides. I just want to remind you that every day when you come into this classroom and even when you're at home, it is very important that you guys log in, you find your bell work Google form, which should be in your ELA notebook on Classroom. So if you don't know where to find that, you should be able to find it on Classroom, page 3 or so of your ELA notebook. You take the bell work Google form for that day that correlates with that day, and then you move on to your playlist. Pretty simple. The reason why I want to stress that it's very important that you guys take these is because this is a really good way for me to check how you're doing, what's going on with you. It's a way of you guys being able to communicate with me where you don't necessarily need to tell me things out loud or in front of other people. So please, please, please make sure that you guys are doing this every day. And then for exit tickets, same thing. This is a big deal for me because I'll check it to see if anybody needs help the next day. And so you guys have noticed that I'll touch base with certain kids or I might pull groups. The exit tickets help me do that because the people that I pull or that I talk to, it might be a very small reason why I work with them, but there are the people that have said, hey, like I kind of need your help, which is honestly a really cool thing that they're able to see that they need help because you guys are learning all of this stuff and it's all new to you. So anyway, long story short, please make sure that you guys every day take the bell work and exit tickets. Thank you. The next thing that we really need to talk about are playlists, which I know you guys know all about playlists by now, so I'm going to make this really short. First thing that you guys need to know would be that you need to do them in order. So if you're not done with playlist 8, like you haven't done everything on playlist 8 and taken the performance assessment, you should not be on playlist 9 and so on and so forth. So just make sure that you know in your own time that you're just supposed to be working through them in order. It's okay if you realize that one of your friends is on playlist 10 and you're still on playlist 8. Don't skip to playlist 10 because you're worried about being behind, because honestly that's just going to be harder for you in the long run because you will get even more behind because you won't be doing things in order, so you'll be lost and it will take you more time to get through things. So make sure you're doing them in order. The second thing that you guys need to know, which I kind of just touched on it, you need to do everything on the playlist. Like, don't think just because not everything's going to be graded that you should skip things, because I know that a couple of you guys have already found this out, but sometimes I will put things on playlists that maybe won't be assessed that week, but will come up the next week or even in a couple of weeks. So if you don't do everything that's on the playlist, then you're missing out on something and you're kind of missing out on a skill and that practice time to be able to help you. So if nothing else, just know that if you're not doing something on a playlist, you're missing out on something that you need. Like, it's on there for a reason. So make sure you're doing everything on the playlist. I just touched on it, but performance assessments, you guys know those are what I grade for you guys. So at the end of your playlist for the week, you do the performance assessment, and then that tells me that you've mastered a skill. Now, I do want to bring this up again because I've touched base with a lot of you guys on this, but if you don't do well on the performance assessment, you are always allowed to retake it unless have specifically said that you cannot. And I have not done that all year. There's not been one thing that I've said you cannot retake this because I want you to master it. I want you to do well on these performance assessments. And honestly, I'm not comfortable with you moving on to the next playlist if you haven't mastered. So for a lot of you guys right now, you're doing knowledge checks on the morpheme sets. So for example, mastery on that is an 85% or higher, well, 85% or higher on everything, essentially, but you need to at least get a 12 out of 14 for me to feel comfortable in putting it in the grade book and letting you move on. So if some of you guys are looking at the grade book and you're like, oh, I thought I did these. Well, chances are you probably didn't get a 12 out of 14 on it, so you should retake it, restudy, retake it, and ace it. And so that's just my quick reminder that performance assessments are graded, but you need to show mastery on those performance assessments. And if you ever have any questions about that or need help on anything, like if you take a performance assessment and you bomb it and you know you need help, come see me, because like I already said, I want you guys to do well on this. Last thing about the playlist for right now would be the enrichment activities. For honors, you have to at least do one of the enrichment activities unless I've specified. So some of the weeks I will say, I want you to do both of these things, or I want you to do all three of these things, which is very likely. So that's honors. For regular ELA, you guys do not have to do enrichment activities unless you're caught up with the weeks. So for example, I have several kids in my regular ELA class and they are already done with the playlist, and so I'm having them do the playlist 12 enrichment activities, or having them go back and do those, because these activities really just further your understanding. So they help deepen your mastery level. And so if you want to do them, you can, but for regular, they're not mandatory unless you're already ahead. And some of you guys are. And so you guys know that you do the enrichment activities. Expectations. Okay, expectations are pretty simple as well. I have 3 non-negotiables in this class. You guys all know this. They're up around the classroom. You need to work hard, you need to be kind, and you need to always do your best. If you guys do that in this classroom, we will have no problems. I see you guys working hard every single day. All I'm asking for is when you come in here, you meet my expectations, you're working. That you're kind to people. That's like a big thing for me. I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I really try to be nice and kind to everybody, no matter how they treat me, because I think that is just the way that I should live my life. And so it really hurts my heart and my soul when I see you guys being mean to each other, because honestly, I don't see the point in it, to be honest. So if you don't have anything nice to say, or if you're having a bad day or whatnot, then just don't say anything at all. But I do know that a lot of you guys are super kind individuals, and it does the opposite when you guys are nice to each other. It really warms my heart, and it makes me so happy when I see you guys helping each other out and just being nice to each other, being nice to everyone. So thank you for doing that. And the last thing is, especially with the playlist, always do your best. Everybody's in a different place, and now that we're like further into the year, I know what your best is. And so if you're just constantly striving to do your best or to do a little bit better every week, that's what I'm looking for. You don't have to be 100% all the time. You just need to be performing at your 100%, if that makes any sense. Okay, masks and cleaning is the second expectation. Make sure you wear your mask at all times. If you guys need mask breaks, just tell me. I know like there's sometimes that I even need a mask break. So what I'll do is I'll step out into the hallway, take it off for a minute or two, and then put it back on and come into the classroom. So just make sure you're wearing them at all times. And if you want a mask break, you tell me. You don't just take it off and then say, oh, but I was having a mask break. Like, you need to actually talk to me about that. So I know that's what you're doing. Cleaning. Every day at the end of class, we need to clean off every desk that a student was in or an area that students would have touched. And I think you guys are doing a really good job of this. So let's keep it up. But just know that that's the expectation. No one leaves until everything is cleaned up. Entering and exiting the classroom, pretty self-explanatory. Just kind of talked about exiting the classroom, but make sure that when everything's clean, that you're exiting the classroom or entering and exiting the classroom in at about a 0 to 1 level, that you're coming in quiet, you're sitting down, and you're getting started to work. for entering the classroom and exiting. Same thing, 0 to 1 level as you're leaving, no pushing, no shoving, and you're just going quietly, peacefully to your next class. Okay. When you're at home, expectations about when you're at home, you're working on your playlist. I have been so proud of you guys, for the most part, about how much you've gotten done at home. And I know that is not easy. Even as an adult, it's hard to work at home all day long, because there's so many more distractions, and for some of you, there's no one there telling you what to do. And so I understand that it is really hard sometimes to work at home, but I want you guys to know that the expectation is that you are getting stuff done when you are at home. It's not like a free day. It's not like, oh, I'm not in school today, so I don't have school. You need to be doing that. The other expectation, for the most part this year, or starting in 2021, what I want you guys to do when you're at home is check the announcement stream. So as soon as you're on Google Classroom, check it, because I'll leave you guys notes, and just things that you might need to know, especially if maybe you need to know something for the day that you're not here. That's where I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to email you. I'm going to send it through Google Classroom and make an announcement about it. Same thing goes with, if I want to Google Meet with you, I will send that in the announcement for the day and say, hey, make sure you are getting on Google Meet at this time. Or if I don't want to meet with you guys and I know that, then I will send like, hey, we don't need to meet today. Here's what you're working on. So make sure when you're at home, you're checking the announcement streams and you're getting your work done. One of the expectations that we've kind of gone over, but I would like to talk more about, is that I would like you guys to start checking your Skyward regularly. If you see that something hasn't been put in, then come to me, because there's probably a reason why I haven't put the grade in. And so I did have, like, right before Christmas break, several people that came to me and were like, hey, you haven't put these grades in, like, I need this to show that I have this done. And I was like, cool. Went in, some of them had gotten it done, so I made sure to check and fix the grades, and others, they had done it, but they hadn't gotten that mastery level. And so it's really important that you guys are checking Skyward and you're seeing where you're at. It also will help you see which week you are on, because in Skyward, I have specifically put the playlist that assignment belongs to on the assignment. So if you see that you have grades, like the first 3 grades in, and the last grade that was put in is playlist 11, then you know that you're either at the very end of playlist 11 or you're on playlist 12. So just something to think about. And then very last thing, I love that you guys email me. You can either email me at rains.mary@hutchdocs.com, or this is one of the other emails that I have through the district, rains.mary@usd308.com. I don't care which one, but I think it's a really good tool that a lot of you guys are utilizing when you have questions, or even, like, for example, some of you guys, for like when you checked Skyward and saw that something wasn't in, you emailed me and I was able to get back to you right away, or within a timely fashion, saying, oh yeah, I will go ahead and fix that, or you got like a 10 out of 14 on this, can you retake that and get a 12 out of 14, and then kind of have that communication back and forth. So just make sure that you guys are getting a hold of me if you need to. If you guys have any more questions about expectations, about the playlist, about anything where you're like, the break was so long, or I've slept since the last time I was in this class, and you just have questions, please let me know, or please ask. Thank you, and welcome back.